concern over the safety of the drinking water at some local schools. Good evening and thank you for joining us. A new report from the University of Toronto's Investigative Journalism Bureau is highlighting levels of lead in the drinking water at schools and daycare centres across the province, including here in Thunder Bay.
The Lakehead District School Board says it's addressing the issue and keeping up with provincial standards. However, Lee Noonan joins us in studio with more. Lee.
Thanks, Ryan. There are many schools in this area that are passing with flying colors, but the U of T report does show multiple failed tests for some local schools, particularly older buildings in rural areas. But the school board says they're on top of it and there's no cause for alarm. Whitefish Valley School failed 24 out of 34 tests for lead in its drinking water between 2019 and 2023, according to a new report from the University of Toronto's Investigative Journalism Bureau. Those are the worst numbers from the Lakehead School Board, but they say measures are in place to ensure students are safe.
Both my children are in school, both grade 2 and grade 5, so they're both in those susceptible ages as well. And I feel excellent about the program, both the regulation and how we sample. So very confident they drink the water every day.
The U of T report uses a federal standard of 5 parts per billion, whereas school boards use the provincial standard of 10 parts per billion. Under that standard, 50% of tests at Whitefish Valley still fail, 17 out of the 34. One reason for the large number of tests, Ulvang explains, is that they continue testing and retesting as they work to fix a problem until they get a good result.
Increase the flushing time, resample to see if we can confirm. We could change out fixtures or water fountains, resample again, and do confirmatory testing. Or sometimes we'll even go as far as a capital maintenance project.
The school board estimates it's invested about $75,000 to mitigate issues with lead in school drinking water since new regulations were imposed in 2017.
It's been a significant amount, some large add-ons to capital work and projects where we were already working on facilities, plumbing and other. We've been able to add on through adds to those projects with those companies. We've also done it in-house through our maintenance group. Our plumbers have been excellent at addressing those and addressing them quickly when they come up.
According to the report, the highest rates of failed tests where lead exceeded 5 parts per billion were at Whitefish Valley, as well as Mackenzie Public at 35%, 5 Mile at 32%, Sherbrooke at 29%, and Armstrong at 17%. Meanwhile, at 9 schools, there were no failed tests at all. Ulvang says protocols are in place at all schools to make sure kids aren't drinking water when there's a failed test.
All of our designated water fixtures will have a green tag signifying that it's safe for consumption. Any of them that do not get tested or may fail at some point in time will get a red tag. It'll say do not drink, just so people are aware.
The report also includes results from the local Catholic school board, and officials there say they'll be ready to respond to the lead results next week. Lee Noonan, TBT News.
Search crews are looking for a missing canoeist in a lake in Quetico Provincial Park. The 25-year-old man from Indianapolis, Indiana, was one of 6 people on board when the canoe capsized. 5 were found, but 1 person is still missing. The OPP Underwater Search and Recovery Unit and the MNRF staff are among those looking for the man. A section of the park is closed while the search continues. Anyone with information is asked to contact the OPP. Thunder Bay Police and city officials have launched separate investigations into a violent incident involving a city transit driver and a member of the public. The physical altercation happened around 6 o'clock this morning at the City Hall bus terminal. The driver is now on leave until the internal probe and the police investigation is complete. City Manager Norm Gale wasn't available for an interview today, but says the city is committed to ensuring the safety of all Thunder Bay Transit employees, passengers, and members of the public.
The City of Thunder Bay has opened up 2 new grants for developers to build more housing. It's thanks to the Federal Housing Accelerator Fund and meant to help the city meet its housing targets. The first program is open to not-for-profit corporations to build affordable rental housing with funding to support 38 new units. The second is the Construction Assistance Grant Program, which focuses on building new residential units in core areas. Grants up to $20,000 are available for a single-bedroom unit and $30,000 for 2 or more bedrooms. Project manager Summer Stevenson says the success of the programs like this will ensure federal funding keeps rolling in.
Both of these initiatives are included in our council-approved action plan. So by implementing them, we are, checking the boxes on making sure we're implementing that strategy to continue receiving funding. In addition, any new unit construction in Thunder Bay helps us work towards those targets. And we hope that by providing these incentives, we'll encourage more development to meet those targets faster.
Anyone who wants to apply for the grants can fill out an application on the city's website.
A popular Thunder Bay attraction has gone off the rails for the third time in 4 summers.
Centennial Park's Muskeg Express is out of commission for at least a few weeks after derailing the first day it opened this summer. Basilio's Bellows reports.
A summer plan for local families has derailed once again.
Totally understand the frustration. This was not where we wanted to be this year.
For the third time since 2021, the Muskeg Express at Centennial Park has gone off the rails. The popular family attraction went out of service last weekend after a front-wheel derailment, the first day it opened for the season. City Parks manager Corey Halverson couldn't say when the ride would reopen, but explains the steps that need to be conducted to make it happen.
We need to make the right decisions about what we're going to change and test and do that in a methodical way. And once we've been able to demonstrate that, then we'll be looking to get approvals from TSSA to reopen. And again, so all those steps will take time. There's some planning, there's some work on the tracks, work on the train, testing.
The Muskeg Express's last year without any issues happened in 2022. Halverson goes on to thank the community for its understanding through the recurring issue, knowing it has some families steaming.
Our objective was to have uninterrupted service this year. That was our objective since last fall. So it's definitely very unfortunate that we find ourselves here again. I appreciate the patience of everyone that comes out and supports the ride. Everyone has been supportive and continues to be.
Now, while local families won't be able to buckle up on the Muskeg Express, at least for the next few weeks, city officials say there's still plenty to choose from when it comes to family fun down here at Centennial Park. That includes the new playground or many walking and biking trails. Basilio Bellows, TBT News.
Okay, well, there's follow-up today on a major shakeup at Queen's Park. Premier Doug Ford shuffled his cabinet late yesterday afternoon. There are now a whopping 36 ministers at what the opposition calls a bloated cabinet table.
Canora's Greg Rickford saw a change to his Indigenous Affairs title. He's now the Minister of Indigenous Affairs and First Nations Economic Reconciliation. He also remains Minister of Northern Development. One of the big changes is that Stephen Lecce is out as Education Minister, moving over to the Energy File. CTV's Siobhan Morris has the story.
The Premier has called this a renewed cabinet focused on rebuilding the economy. But it's the length of the procession getting a lot of attention.
The most bloated cabinet. This is a Conservative government, did we forget?
For those who've been at the cabinet table,
I don't know where they're all gonna sit.
36 people between ministers, associate ministers, and the Premier.
That gets to be a very high number if you want to have a kind of thoughtful discussion where people really do get a chance to say their piece.
A handful of backbench MPPs have been added to cabinet, either as ministers or associate ministers, positions that come with a big pay bump.
This is Doug Ford trying to grow his inner circle to have more people feel like they're a part of the team.
John Tory thinks the expanding cabinet has more to do with MPPs not getting a raise since 2008. Their base pay a little under $117,000 a year. A promotion to minister adds about $50,000.
Being away from home and the hours you work on weekends and so on, that you have to add some responsibility, which carries some money with it, so the government people are able to get that. And it keeps some of them from just saying, I've had enough of this, I have to retire.
The Liberal leader doesn't see a lot of substance in this cabinet shakeup.
Todd Smith and Stephen Lecce have swapped positions, and that's about all I see. It's another example of Ford helping his friends get ahead.
But Stephen Lecce being plugged into energy could be seen as a sign an early election is coming, with the carbon tax at its center.
They want a street fighter. They want someone who will go to the microphone, scream hard, yell loud, and point fingers, and that's what they're going to get in Stephen Lecce.
In Lecce's first few minutes in his new job, an early taste of that strategy.
We're going to grow the economy, a clean energy grid, among the most cleanest energy grids on the continent. without raising taxes as the Liberals would do.
Steve Clark, who resigned as housing minister over his handling of the Greenbelt land removal, will become government House leader, reviving the Greenbelt controversy when MPPs return to Queen's Park October 21st. Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
It was a very special day for Confederation College as the school celebrated a record-breaking 2,200 graduates.
2 ceremonies were held at the community auditorium for students to cross the floor and get their diplomas. Nev Van Pelt was there.
Hundreds of students gathered together one final time to walk across the stage and receive their certificates, diplomas, advanced diplomas, and degrees. It was an extra special day with a record 2,200 graduates. And it was also the final convocation ceremony for Confederation College President Kathleen Lynch, who is retiring at the end of August. Lynch admits she got a little emotional as she celebrated all of the graduates.
They've made a lot of friendships, the networks, those kinds of things are really important in your life to support you, whether it's friends or networking for your career, really important. And you know, at the college, we offered the applied learning in spades. So, you know, they've had a lot of practical experience as well during their studies. So they're prepared to go out in the workforce and make a difference.
The college held a morning ceremony at 9:30, followed by an afternoon ceremony at 2. And the students we spoke to were very excited to make it to this day.
An undescribable feeling. I haven't graduated from anything since high school, and I'm 24 now, so this was like an insane, amazing, special moment for me. I got to graduate with all my friends and my teachers that have became my friends, so it's been amazing, awesome.
Well, it's really awesome, and we're glad we finished our programs because, you know, we've been studying and working for 2 years nonstop. Like last summer, we only had 1 day off for work, and yeah, we're just so glad that it's all over.
1 in 13 jobs in the region are associated with the college, and the graduates said Confederation College is a special community and has prepared them for what's next.
Here there's so many great nurses that are instructors, so it feels great to be part of that community, that I can always reach out and ask for help if I need it.
It's such a great community. Everyone is so supportive of each other, and just bringing that out into the world and being kind to other people.
During the morning ceremony, the college also awarded Leona Scanlon with an honorary diploma for the Aboriginal Community Advocacy Program.
They don't give out a lot of honorary diplomas, so it means a lot. I've been working with the college, not for the college, but with them on various initiatives for 26 years.
Nev Van Pelt, TBT News.
The top 8 mine rescue teams from around Ontario were at Fort William Gardens this week, competing for bragging rights and a provincial title.
The local team from Impala Canada's Lac des Îles mine was among the competitors after they won the district event at Norwest Arena last month. Organized by Ontario Mine Rescue, the annual event has been around for almost 75 years. And this year, the 2024 Provincial Mine Rescue Competition found new ways to test the teams, which are made up of volunteers from mines across the province. Sean Rideout is the Chief Mine Rescue Officer and gives insight into what type of scenarios the competitors will face.
We evaluate, different skill sets, so everything from first aid to high-angle rope rescue to motor vehicle collisions, firefighting. So we test them on all aspects of emergency response.
One of the teams taking part is the Lac des Îles team from the Palladium mine just north of Thunder Bay. The minute that each team sets foot in the Fort William Gardens, the live action begins, with each team having to put out an underground fire in a mine. But along the way, they're faced with many challenges. Each scenario is video recorded so fellow members who are not part of the competition or supporters can watch. They are also judged by the competition organizers.
Hey, Captain.
Deputy Chief Danny Teifer is one of those judges.
Underground mining is, it's a very safe industry, but when things go wrong, they can go really bad, right? So we need people that are prepared and ready to deal with that, and just make sure that they go down there and get that job done safely and go home to their families at the end of the day.
Teifer adds these teams have rigorous training year-round and will continue to do so. This competition gives each member a chance to sharpen their skill sets while proving their abilities to make major decisions while under extreme pressure. There is a team winner, but truly everyone wins when it comes to this. More confident workers create a safer work environment, which then benefits the companies, and in this case, the mines. More than 100 classic cars were seen rolling down Highway 61 this morning.
Vintage car owners from around the region are here in town this weekend, and they made a stop at the Oliver Papoonge Heritage Park. Justin Hardy reports.
115 vintage cars rolled out to Oliver Papoonge Heritage Park for the official start of a rendezvous between the Thunder Bay Vintage Sports Car Club and their friends from surrounding areas. Friday's event featured a poker run tour around Oliver Papoonge, followed by a quick lunch and then onto a scavenger hunt around the park to offer visiting drivers a chance to learn a little bit about the region.
We host this every 4 or 5 years. So this year we decided that it would be nice, and we're always looking for something different. So we thought it would be wonderful now that the Heritage Park is up and rolling good, that we use the Heritage Park as a tourist destination.
Saturday, all 115 vintage cars can be found at the marina from 1 to 4 p.m. Having this many vintage cars rolling through town creates quite a spectacle wherever they go. After a slow start to this year's season, Jean Mayo, curator of the Heritage Park, hopes the spectacle, along with other new events being brought to the park, attract more visitors.
So we're hoping to encourage others to come out, where before we've had more music entertainment and family days, that type of thing. So yeah, it's always great to have something new.
The park will continue to host events throughout the season, with the next being Quilts in the Village, a quilt show and sale happening this weekend designed to get more people interested in the hobby. Find out more by visiting ophp.ca. Justin Hardy, TBT News.
All right, let's bring in Fiona Gardner now. Fiona, the weather was a little bit better than we were expecting today.
Well, that's because there's always been a risk of rain for the last few days, and today was no different, but it seemed like Mother Nature was taking a break, letting us have a little bit more sunshine. Not a lot, but a little more sunshine. It was mostly to partly cloudy skies throughout the day. We started out with a low of 12. We did warm up to a very seasonal 21 Celsius, but definitely gusty. Winds started out around 19-20 kilometers per hour. In the last couple of hours, it's actually reached up to 50 those gusts. So it's getting more and more blustery as the day has gone by. Now, as far as the precipitation, it's kind of all around us, and you can see that system still pushing in. It's another very unorganized system. It's not got a lot of denseness to it. Just a few little pop-up showers here and there, and that is what is expected to start to move in the overnight hours to the west and possibly move into Thunder Bay and more areas of northwestern Ontario during the afternoon tomorrow and a little bit into Sunday. So it's going to be one of those iffy weekends. At this hour, though, we're under partly cloudy skies. Fort Frances 20, Dryden matching that, as is Grand Portage, 21 in Atikokan, just a little cooler as you head to the northwest. They're mostly cloudy in Red Lake, and at 17. Pickle Lake, a little bit cooler still at 13. But as you head further east, this is where temperatures have really taken a hit today. A lot of cloud cover, just a couple of brief showers here and there north of Lake Superior, but the temperatures haven't moved much. They had mild nights, but the difference between the high and the low for the day was about 1 to 2 degrees. So Greenstone has been hovering between 12 and 13 Celsius. Sault Ste. Marie between 11 and 12 and 10 Celsius at times, and Wawa sitting at 9 at this hour. So it's definitely cooler along the North Shore and east of Greenstone. Here in the city of Thunder Bay tonight, we'll drop down to a low of 9 again, partly cloudy. Those gusty winds could hit 60 kilometers per hour over the next couple of hours, but then as we head towards midnight, the winds will start to diminish. Not completely gone, but definitely diminishing. And as we head into the rest of the weekend, unfortunately, that risk of showers, that's going to continue with that unorganized system. So you definitely want to keep your umbrella handy just in case. And as always, if you have the umbrella, it won't rain. And if you don't, it will. So just keep it by and things will be good. The other thing is temperatures are going to be either at or slightly below normal for this time of year. So the best bet for outdoor activities is probably Monday, but since most of us are hoping for some time on the weekend, I think if you just prepare, I think we're going to have a reasonable Sunday, possibly part of Saturday.
All right, well, thanks a lot for that, Fiona. And hey, if you don't like the weather this weekend, you may want to travel south, and there's some good news. That possible strike at the border has been averted, at least for now. That's because negotiations have been extended through Wednesday with Canada Border Services. We'll have details on that and more when your Friday News Hour continues right after the break.